The Indianapolis Colts have been one of the most shocking teams in the entire NFL this season, making Daniel Jones look like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and a lot of people are shocked by this. But I think it's because they're forgetting one player, and that player is Jonathan Taylor. Let's dive into the film from the Denver Broncos versus Indianapolis Colts game, and let me show you how the Indianapolis Colts upset the Denver Broncos and why I think Jonathan Taylor might just be the most underrated player in the entire NFL. As always, I'm going to let every play run through, and then we're going to go back and break it down right afterwards. Okay, so why did this work so well? It's because we're going to motion over downs right here, and then we're going to run what's called a mesh concept. And what a mesh concept does is we swing our running back out here to the flat. We're going to run a drag route right here, a drag route right here, and we're going to let them cross each other and get in the way of these linebackers, and then we're also going to put Tyler Warren over here on this. But what simply happens here is this corner right here gets confused about what coverage he's playing. Everybody else on the field is running cover 3 match, and he's running man coverage. So you're going to see he's actually going to follow 14 Alex Pierce across the field, and that's going to open up a wide open flat here for Jonathan Taylor for a touchdown. Next up here, we're going to have his biggest reception of the game. This is actually only his second biggest play, as crazy as that sounds. And just a great job here. But what ends up happening, right? It more so looks to me on this play like they honestly just aren't doing a great job keeping their eyes on Jonathan Taylor. Like, to me, anytime I'm going into a game versus the Indianapolis Colts, my number one priority would be 28 right here, because he's just such a good football player. But they just have him manned up instead with Alex Singleton right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it where when they put Jonathan Taylor in motion over here, Singleton's going to have this guy in his way. And when he gets in his way, it's going to interrupt Singleton's ability to get over there, and Jonathan Taylor is going to pick up a huge gain. And it's just super, super easy when you play football like this, right? Watch, Alex Singleton runs into his own DB right there, and then Jonathan Taylor's gone. And he's so fast and so powerful when he runs that once you're late, it's too late. Okay, now we're going to look at one more pass play. This one's actually not going to Jonathan Taylor, but there's something I really want you to pay attention to here with Jonathan Taylor. Now let's look at it from the end zone view here. Okay, so you see, as I mentioned, they put Michael Pittman into motion. And after they put Michael Pittman in motion, I want you to look at this. Pause right here. They're running a tight end screen off to the side over here. But they just faked the handoff to Jonathan Taylor. And look how many guys. We've got 1, 2, 3 guys right here, causing Tyler Warren to have 2 blockers out in front of him with only 2 players for a huge gain right there. Just a really great job of using your best players as a distraction to help your other really good football players get those really great matchups in the open field. Now we're going to get into the really, really fun stuff, and we're going to get to watch Jonathan Taylor run the ball downhill behind this Colts offensive line. And what I want to really showcase with this play, one is the incredible blocking. That's something that's unique about the Colts compared to a lot of different football teams across the NFL. Look at that lane. When you can get a player with the talent that Jonathan Taylor has through a gap like that, and he's always going to fall forward and find a way to get yardage, he's going to pick up huge gains all the time for you. And this is just a really simple run, but it highlights why the Colts have been able to be so good in these first 2 games. Once again, we have another run here by Jonathan Taylor in the red zone. So what type of run do we have called up here as the Colts? We have what's called a trap. When we take one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL, Quentin Nelson, and we put him into motion, and we let him attack the second level for us, right? Look at the burst from Jonathan Taylor, though. His center gets beat immediately by Zach Allen, and he's still able to escape. Quentin Nelson kind of gets laid out, but he does a good enough job handling Alex Singleton to open up a hole, and then Jonathan Taylor just makes the most of it. That's the type of running back he is. Now, if you would have told me in the offseason the Colts were scary with Daniel Jones, I would have looked at you like you were stupid. But in all reality, it kind of makes sense with how good of a job he can do at running the ball and what this Colts offensive line looks like. Now we're going to have a split zone read here by the tight end. where we're just giving it to Jonathan Taylor and letting him pick up a huge gain for us. Now, why was this play so successful against this Broncos defense? Well, it's because they're being extremely generous up the middle, right? I don't know if they were just expecting a lot more pass attempts in this game. I don't know if they just trusted their inside linebackers and their defensive linemen more. But what you're doing when you leave this much space up the middle is you're pretty much saying you can run it on us and you can get a free 5 or 6 yards if you want. And that's exactly what the Colts are going to do. They're going to run Tyler Warren to the other side of the formation, let him down block this end right here, and they're just going to get double teams up the middle and push down the field. And if you're giving a running back as talented as Jonathan Taylor a free 8 yards before contact, you're just not going to have a good day in the NFL. So this makes no sense to me. Great job by the Colts, though, continuing to exploit it all game. Now we're just going to have a simple misdirection or counterplay here by Jonathan Taylor, and he just does a great job of finding the hole and making the most of it, as he always does. He's so hard to bring down. Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Look at the lane that this offensive line is creating. You could give me the football here and I could pick up at least 5 yards. So as I mentioned earlier, if you're continuing to give a running back this good, this much open space to run the football with no one getting hands on him, with how shifty he is, he's going to continue to punish you up the middle. Here we have Jonathan Taylor's longest run of the game, and this is just simply incredible stuff right here. This type of play right here shows exactly why I have the feelings I have about Jonathan Taylor. A lot of people just forget that he even exists because he's been with the Colts, and they forget that he was just a rushing leader just a couple of years ago. And he has this breakaway speed, this incredible size and strength that just people don't talk about very much. And I think he's one of the primary reasons, him and the Colts offensive line, why Daniel Jones looks so good and why the Colts look like a dominant team in the NFL right now. So let me know down below what you think. Thanks for watching, and see you later.